Florence.
Oh, please, help me, advise me. Tell me to be brave, but don't ask me to make decisions about us now.
I was going to say that you mustn't let them think for a moment that you're their servant. Now, I know these committees. They'll only respect you if they think they're serving you.
Richard, you have that sort of confidence. But I'm so afraid I'm going to fail.
I'm not frightened of that, Florence. What scares me is what if you succeed? My dear, your success at the hospital is the talk of London. You've become a sort of heroine. You've achieved what you set out to do. Now, I really don't begrudge the fame. But quite selfishly, I wonder about our plans for the future together. I need to ask you now, finally, will you be my wife?
Richard, you've been so kind and patient with me for so long.
Florence!
Please, I beg you, don't force me to an answer now.
I must! I always believed we had an understanding. But if you don't love me enough to want to marry me now, why should you in the future?
Richard, I've only just escaped one kind of domestic life, the life of family, and I don't want to be nailed to it again so soon.
You're making excuses, Florence. Have I ever tried to nail you down? I have loved you truly as a friend. But I have a passionate side of my nature too, and that side of me has to have an answer. If you tell me again that you want more time, you're saying no, and I must take that no as final.
You choose to make it final, not me. Very well, then. If it has to be now or never, then let it be never, and I shall never marry.
You're talking like a child, Flo, and a spoilt one. Of course you will marry.
I, too, have a passionate side to my nature. And perhaps I shall satisfy it outside of marriage. But I shall never marry.
Florence, don't say you'll never marry. Say rather that you and I will never fully part.
I love you. And when I say it, I'm saying goodbye to one whole side of life and all of youth. Past and future being torn apart right here. And I'm living the daring. And now it's done.
While Florence's fame grew in the world of British medicine, England found itself entangled in a war with Russia. The glow of pride which followed the first victories on the Black Sea was soon to be replaced by a feeling of national shame, as over half the army's casualties occurred not on the battlefield, but in its hospitals.
My dear Florence, what can I do for you?
Sydney, I would like to help at the hospital in Scutari.
Scutari? Florence, there's a big difference between running a woman's hospital in London and trying to merely survive in a pest hole in Turkey. Here you're respected, practically a celebrity. There, well, have you any idea what life might be like for a woman?
Women are strong, stronger than you think.
I bow to no man in my respect for women, but Scutari is a living hell. Besides, it is a British Army installation. No woman would be allowed to enter. And even if she were, what could she possibly do?
Exactly what the wives and mothers and sisters of those young men would do. Clean them, take care of them, nurse them back to health.
Florence, I don't think you understand the scope of this tragedy.
But I do, Sydney. I want to raise a corps of nurses, the best that can be found, pay them out of my own pocket if I have to, take them to Scutari with bandages and shirts and medical supplies, pound down the army's doors if they won't let us in, and take care of those wounded heroes.
This whole war is a monumental embarrassment. We wouldn't even be in it if the Russians didn't believe that on land we are vulnerable as opposed to our might on the seas. And to make matters worse, the Times sends William Russell to record all of the army's blunders and the mishandling of the wounded. Florence, what do you suppose will be the reaction of the military if they heard that a woman, worse, a band of women, is on its way to rescuing the British Army?
Give me permission to try. And if you can, give me funds. Enough funds to show the world that we won't let our soldiers rot away in some foreign land for lack of care. Sydney, our soldiers are dying needlessly. What you're talking about is pride. What I'm talking about is saving lives. Will you help?
Florence, you can't. The boat sails in 10 days. You'd have to leave London in less than a week. And if I tried, and if I succeed, you would be going to a country so vastly different from England. You'd be in the most horrible of circumstances.
No, Sydney. The most horrible of circumstances would be to do nothing.
All these women traveling to the continent unescorted. I'm so relieved Charles has agreed to go with them. Otherwise, I'd never have allowed her to go.
How could anyone have stopped it?
Charles, we're here.
Oh, hello. Does Florence know you're here?
No, we cannot get near her.
She really is remarkable. I never would have imagined she was capable of organizing and carrying out a venture like this.
Hereditary, I expect. I am so grateful that you and Selina have agreed to go with her. She'll need to be among friends, however strong she appears to be.
There's not a lady in that company apart from Selina. No one of our class would go, Mama. I certainly wouldn't.
Florence!
I'm so glad you've come to see me off.
Flo, do be careful. Turks do not respect women the way English gentlemen do.
I will be careful, Mama.
Florence? My sister. My little sister. I'm so afraid for you. This all sounds so horrible. I could not bear to.
Arthie. I want to go. I'm not afraid. I know what I'm doing.
Of course you do, Flo.
Father, I hope you understand.
Don't ask me that. I shall never understand. But I shall always marvel, with pride, with awe, at the brave, noble girl that we raised in our family without ever realizing that she was different. Godspeed, my gallant daughter.
Richard.
I had to be here.
I'm so pleased.
You really are the most adorable patriot I've ever seen. I've missed you, Florence.
Richard, I'm happy to hear that. And to know you're not angry at me any longer. Will you write?
Of course. And expect answers.
And I will send them. I am afraid of what's ahead. But this is what I was always meant to do. I believe that, and I want you to believe it.
I do, Florence.
All nurses stay together. No wandering off, please.
Florence, my dear, hold your head high. How many of us in our lifetime can ever say, I have made a difference? You were one of those rare ones, Flo. As for us, I have no regrets for what is, only, selfishly at times, for what might have been. Love. Richard. The journey to Turkey took nearly a month. By ferry from England to France, by train to the port of Marseille, and by ship to Constantinople. Florence, Brace Bridges and her group of 40 nurses arrived at the base hospital Scutari on November the 4th, 1854.